Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, hey, go, hey, go. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, this is my humble obeisance of Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our evening Bhagavad Gita hearing from Srila Prabhupada says. We are going to be continuing with the lecture by Srila Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, verses 11 and 12. It's a short lecture, so we will hear and try to get at least one takeaway so that we can share at the end of the class. Hari Bol.
च सर्वेषु अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागमवस्थिता तथा भागम् भागमवस्थिता भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि भवन्तः सर्व एव हि अयनेषु च सर्वेषु अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागमवस्थिता भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि अयनेषु च सर्वेषु यथा भागमवस्थिता भीष्ममेवाभिरक्षन्तु भवन्तः सर्व एव हि सञ्जनयन् हर्षं कुरु वृद्धः पितामहः सिंहनादं विनद्योश्चै शङ्खं दद्मो प्रतापवान् increasing harsham cheerfulness Kuru Viddaha, the grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, Bhishma, Pitamaha, the grandfather, Singhanadam, roaring sound like a lion, Vinadya, vibrating, Uchchai, very loudly, Shankam, conch shell, Dadmo, blue, Pratapavan, the valiant. Translation. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, like the sound of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
So, Duryodhana was doubting that my grandfather, Bhishma, is more affectionately inclined to the other party. So, he may not be lenient in fighting. So, in order to encourage Duryodhana, tasya sanjanayan harsham. Don't think that I am lenient, I am strong. Immediately, to encourage him, he blew his conch shell. Nowadays they use bugle. Formerly, the conch shells were used by the kings. And not that in modern days the fighting takes place. The poor soldiers, they come to fight, and the leaders, they remain in safety place. It is not like that. All of them came out. Kshatriya, Bhishma Dev came, Duryodhana came, Arjuna came, and face to face they had to fight. Not that the poor soldiers should fight and they would remain in a secure place. No. So, tasya sanjayanam harsham Kuruvidha, the oldest man in the dynasty, Kuru dynasty, Pitamaha, is the grandfather of Arjuna and Duryodhana, the Dhritarashtra's elder uncle, his father's elder brother. He was a very old man, brahmachari, and in that old age also, he was taking the risk of fighting. This is Kshatriya spirit. Not that only Dhritarashtra was not escaping because he was physically incapable, blind. Therefore, he did not come in the battlefield. Otherwise, even Bhishma Dev in such old age, he also came. This is Kshatriya spirit. When there is fight, there is no rest. And fight means either the other party should be killed or I shall be killed. Not that without any decision the fighting will be stopped. No, that cannot be. When there is two parties, must be belligerent, one party. So decision is that either you kill me or I kill you. Not that without killing one, without being killed one of us, the fighting cannot be stopped. Just like Jarasandha was fighting with Bhima. During daytime the fighting was going on. And at night Bhima was a guest of Jarasandha. As guest is honored, respected, all the parties. But during daytime the fighting was going on. And this fighting went on for 28 days. Still there was no decision. Then Krishna gave hint, Bhimsen, that Jarasandha has got a defect. He is joined, two bodies joined. So if you bifurcate him, then he will be killed. So later on Bhimsen took that policy and Jarasandha was killed. So amongst the Kshatriyas, when there is fighting, unless one party is killed, the fighting cannot be stopped. This is the battle of Kurukshetra, to see the history of the former kings and Kshatriyas, how they are determined. This is one of the qualifications of Kshatriya, not to go away from the fighting. When there is challenge of fighting, immediately a Kshatriya would accept. That is Kshatriya spirit. Ishvara bhavaj, and ruling over others, and charitable. These are the symptoms of Kshatriya. They are described in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahman qualification, Kshatriya qualification, Vaishya qualification, Shudra qualification. So, very nice arrangement, Vedic civilization. Everyone is guided by the superior. The Brahmana guides the Kshatriyas. The Kshatriya guides the Vaishyas, and the Vaishya employ the Shudras. Chaturvarnamaya system gunakarma vibhaga. In this way, 4 divisions of Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, they manage the whole society so nicely. The Kshatriyas, as the Kshatriyas' business was to give protection to the citizens. Similarly, Vaishya's duty was to give protection to the animals. Krishi Goraksha Vanijam Vaishya Karma Sabhav. Vaishya, they should engage themselves in agricultural production and giving protection to the cows, especially mentioned. Goraksha. Goraksha, cow protection, is one of the items of state affairs. And now there is no cow protection. Poor cows, they deliver milk and later on they become slaughtered. How much sinful the modern society is, and they still want peace and prosperity. That is not possible. The society must be divided, Brahman, Kshatri, Vaishya, Shudra, and they must execute their proper duty. And the Vaishyas, they should give protection to the cows, and the Shudras, they should work under the direction of the higher 3 divisions. In this way, there will be nice management. Then, as it is stated during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, Kamang Bavarsha Pujanya, the nature also will help. If you keep things all right, according to the direction, then nature also will help you. Nature will give you sufficient foodstuff. Bhavarsa purjanya, kama. Whatever the necessities of life, it will be supplied by nature simply by proper pouring of water, vrishti. Actually, now the whole world is suffering for drought. There is scarcity of rain. And if the rain is stopped for 1 or 2 years more, there will be havoc. It is already there, havoc. In India there is famine because they are mostly agriculturists. So there is famine. In other countries they have got industries, but India is not so industrially advanced. So without water, nothing can be produced. Therefore, during Maharaj Yudhishthira's time, Kamang Bhavarsa Purjanya, Jajñād Bhavati Purjanya. If you want sufficient water, then you must perform yoga. These are the indications, direction of the Vedic wisdom. So at the present moment, no other yoga is possible. The only yoga, Sankirtan yoga, is possible. Jaggai Sankirtanai Prayai Jajantihi Sumedas. So if this Krishna consciousness movement is taken seriously all over the world, and they perform Sankirtan yoga, everything will be adjusted immediately. Everything. But these rascals will not take it. They will suffer. Otherwise, all directions are there. People have to take the advantage of direction, perfect direction, without any mistake, and they will be happy. So, we are trying to introduce this Krishna consciousness movement so that people may come to their senses, take advantage of it, and be happy. Thank you very much.
There's so much in this short lecture by Srila Prabhupada. It's amazing. Would like to ask you if you have any comments, any sharing, clarification, a takeaway. Please do unmute yourself and share. Anyone would like to go before me? You can unmute and go right ahead.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There's only 3 of us, so
Yeah.
yes, so much was there. Srila Prabhupada started talking about all of the Kshatriyas, regardless of age, even Bhishma in his old age, he still came to the battlefield. But in modern warfare these days, the leaders, military leaders, are situated in a safe place and they leave the poor soldiers to fight and kill. So Bhishma came to fight even though he was old, and he says that's the Kshatriya spirit. And he also mentioned that unless one party was killed, the fighting could not be stopped. They just go on. So another point is the duties of a Kshatriya, ruling over the people and being charitable and also having a fighting spirit. Brahmins advise Kshatriya, and Kshatriyas manage Vaishyas, and the Vaishyas manage Shudras. So these are some of the points that I was able to put down. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. That was nice. Yes. Actually, when Srila Prabhupada was mentioning about Bhishma Dev, I was also remembering his age, because I think he was like hundreds or something years old, right? Yeah,
Yeah, the Pandavas were in the 90s.
That's what I thought. If I'm not mistaken, I think.
But that was what you call Dwapara Yuga.
Yeah.
90 is not a considered a very old age. So Bhishma was much older.
Yeah, I remember. I
Much
think it
older.
ran in the hundreds. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then to see today's age where the Kshatriyas they just sit at home, and the young folks like you said is really amazing. One of the takeaway that I had was how Shri Prabhupada was mentioning about the fight between Bhim and Jarasandh. I thought that was
Mhm.
hilarious. Where Shri Prabhupada said, well, yeah, where during the day Bhim and Jarasandh fought, but at night they were each other's guest of honor. I had to laugh about that because I was thinking, like that's really amazing how during the day, both the parties can come out and fight really, to win the fight. But then at night, Bhim was the
Uh,
guest of Jarasandh, like nothing
mhm.
ever happened. So that means these Kshatriyas were really trained to keep aside their differences. I don't know, but this was
They were
coming to
they
my
were
mind.
fighting to win the fight.
Yeah,
Whatever that was there, the fight would decide it. The
yeah.
fight would decide it. Even in the case of Duryodhana. In the
Mm,
case of Duryodhana, he wanted the kingdom, and all the plans to try to kill the Pandavas didn't work. So now they went to the battlefield. In fact, Karna was very happy that he went to the battlefield. He did
mm-hmm,
not want Pandavas to be killed by foul means. He wanted them to lose on the
mm-hmm.
battlefield because he wanted to win, to make a statement. So they make a statement literally with their the way in which they approach wars. It's very
Right.
different now. Very,
Very,
very
very
different.
different. Very different. Yeah, because I'm seeing, I said, wow, these guys can really, they are so they really exemplify the real mood of what it means to be a Kshatriya, that
Fighting
even
spirit.
exactly the fighting spirit, that even at night, because I remember even in a reading from the Battle of Kurukshetra, after war, one camp, the Kauravas and the Pandavas could mingle, both the camps. So for them to actually act in that way, where they, during the day they fight, at the night they kept aside their differences, they must have had some really good self-control.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. That's pretty powerful.
Still, this whole thing was the outcome of the fight will determine who lives and who dies. So no matter how angry you get, no matter how angry you get, um, the still, the fight, you have to fight. You can bring your anger to the fight. That's basically what it is. But yeah, it's amazing that these days, if somebody was entertained by the enemy that's fighting, maybe in the middle of the night they'll arrange to get them killed, or when they serve them food stuff, they will put poison in the food and kill them. Like,
Yeah.
wars are horrible these days. They
Yeah.
start not even during the daytime. They start at the wee hours in the morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and the bombs are raining down. And they don't know no battlefield area. They say front line, but the front line is among the civilians. So the civilians get killed too, and they are totally unarmed, and they just get bombed, women, children, old men.
I I remember a lecture Srila Prabhupada gave on this topic that you just addressed, that for the Battle of Kurukshetra, the battle was fought so far away that none of the civilians, none of the local citizens were ever affected.
They were not in danger at
They were
all.
very protected. None of them died from the war. Local women, children, elderly, Brahmanas, nobody. And that's what, yeah, I remember Srila Prabhupada mentioning in one of his lectures that that's the proper way of fighting. But yeah,
Or
that
even
was
in the
nice.
not too long ago, just a couple hundred years back, the wars that were fought, they were fought also in the battlefield. And sometimes some people
Yeah.
went to watch. Yeah,
Hilarious,
yeah.
amazing. And yeah. Another point that I was really nice to hear from Sri Prabhupada always is, always reminding us about cow protection. That was
Yeah.
a nice point. That was really nice. That was a reminder how we should, really be speaking about crop protection and the importance of crop protection. And now after COVID, this plant-based diet is such a big thing, such a big thing. More, it used to be veganism, but now it's this plant-based diet is a new term that they use. Everything is plant-based, plant-based. So powerful that I think it's a nice preaching tool that we can use to promote crop protection. So I was thinking
But
about that.
when these people say plant-based, who knows what they put in the plants? They put everything, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But
So we don't know yet.
yeah,
We keep things natural.
yeah,
When we do things, as Sir Papa was saying, if we keep things in order, do the right things according to what the way nature has said, then nature will also supply all our needs,
yeah.
water and all the necessities. Hmm? So then it said, actually, I don't know whether Shorab has want to point the two, because the two of us are talking.
Yeah,
He
I
hasn't
know.
said
Sure. If
anything.
you want to say something, you can just jump right in. Don't even wait for us to stop. I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
No, that's okay. That's going. So Sir Papa says that if you want sufficient water in an agricultural situation, you must perform yagya. And these yagyas of all don't work now. The only yagya is Sankirtan yagya. That will work. And if we do that, then everything after perform Sankirtan yagya on a regular basis, then everything will be put in order. But we don't want to do that.
It's so actually, you know what? This was one of my last points that
Hello,
there you go,
Hare Krishna.
Shaurabh.
Yeah,
can you hear me now?
Now very
yes.
clear.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a nice discussion. I was just listening to that. So I was just not speaking anything.
Okay.
Yeah, the point I liked is Prabhupada mentioning about the only yagya that we can perform in this Kali Yuga is only Sankirtan.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and we should continue that thing.
That was also my point too, Shaurabh. You just read my mind. Yes. At first he said we must perform Jagya, and then he says Sankirtan Jagya. Then he said the only one. You're right. So
But see
nice.
now, remember in Girinagri when there was drought for a
I
while
remember,
too,
I was thinking the
and there
same
was
thing.
Istigosti and Kalki Mataji said, what you do is you go around the farm and chant the holy name, perform Sankirtan at the farm, and we did that.
And it
And the
rained.
next day, steady rain for 3 or so days.
Yes.
I know it was more than one day.
It was more than a day. It was
Steady.
more.
Steady rain. It wasn't like a downpour, the flood. Steady rain that really, really got the soil. It was soaked nicely into the soil.
And I think this
And
was either 96 or 97.
yeah,
I
it was
remember because
early.
this was before Vrinda was born. So that's how I remember.
Yeah.
And we had drought, really bad drought. And the devotees went out and we chanted, a couple of hours. So we chanted for a few days, not just one day, with a couple of days. And then it poured.
Bad drought is bad too for cows
Yeah.
because no water, then it means the grass doesn't grow well and the cows. Now, I get to the point where you see cows trying to take whatever little grass they can get off of the ground, but you don't see it grow like the way when water falls and the grass grows, and it just really can just take mouthfuls of it.
Right.
So water is so important. And
So important.
Papa says Sankirtan.
Yeah, that was a nice point,
Sankirtan.
Saurabh. Thank you. Yeah, that was my main point from the whole thing too, is the only yagya is Sankirtan Yagya. That's the only thing. And then he says, go ahead, Saurabh, go ahead.
No, we don't hear him anymore.
Oh yeah, we can't hear him now. We heard him just now.
We have the physical evidence
Yeah.
for this thing.
Yeah, Krishna's mercy. That was the only time that I can remember, Saurabh, that we had a real proof, lack of a better word. And that made a believer out of us. Since
all
then,
of us.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because it was in a Bhagavatam class morning
Yes.
that this situation of a drought that was very bothersome was discussed, and this Maharaj disciple
Disciples, yeah.
said that you just chant.
And
And
we
at that
all got
time, I
up
didn't
from
know-
class. Yeah, and we all got up from class. We didn't have breakfast. We got up, we all gathered, we
Chanted and
took the
walked around.
Yep,
Yeah.
we gathered the mridanga, the kartals. We went out and we chanted around the whole property for a couple of hours, and we came back. We had lunch and we did it again. I think the evening or the next day we did it again 2-3
The
times.
next
And
day, I think,
then
yeah.
next day, and it after that it
It
poured.
was very steady rain.
It poured.
Mm.
And that's when I said, oh my
Steady rain.
God, it made me a believer out of Sankirtan Yagya. It made me a believer.
So now we know.
Yeah, it is
So now we
real.
know.
It really
Divine
works.
rain.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. It's 6:30, and I would like to thank, the few of us that are on here, a couple of us, to make this such a nice, sweet, memorable, I have to say, just going down memory lane and sharing our points. Just a humble reminder that tomorrow morning we have class, and I believe tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, is also
Vrindavan.
Bhagavatam. Yeah, Vrindavanaji Radhika from ISKCON Philadelphia. So please do join us tomorrow morning. Until then, thank you so much. And
One
let's all really see the power of Sankirtan Yagya. Definitely, it really, really works. Until
One
then, Vanchakrapatibhyascha,
Kalpatarubhasya
Kripasinubhevacha,
Kripasinubhevacha
Patitanam
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Saurabh.
Krishna.
Haribol.
Jai.